This is RIFF Radio, a presentation of RIFF Magazine Online, your source for music news, interviews, and concert reviews from the Bay Area and beyond. Find more at riffmagazine.com. I'm Mike DeWald. On this episode, we sit down with Fever 333, a Grammy-nominated hard rock band that looked to be on the brink just a few short years ago, but frontman Jason Alon built the band back, adding guitarist Brandon Davis, bassist April Kay, and drummer Thomas Pridgeon. Now the four pieces coming out swinging, with gigs lined up with Enter Shikari in Europe and much more on the way. Now, Jason, what were you looking for in re-energizing this band?
I was looking for the funk. You know what I mean?
Found it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe that there is just something to be said about, having this cultural diversity within rock music, first and foremost. And I think that the talents and capabilities, the way that this band thinks, the way that we operate together, which we didn't actually even know was going to work this well when we just kind of did it. But I personally couldn't feel more blessed and lucky to have landed where I am right now. But honestly, like I said, just for people that aren't familiar, the funk, it goes beyond just like a Primus bass line. I'm just trying to speak to the audience right now. Like, it goes beyond that. Like I said, it's a feeling. It's a movement. It's an energy. It's an essence. So that's what I was looking for, and I think I really found it. I got really lucky.
Feels like there's really a moment happening in rock right now where there's, especially with some of the young bands coming up, that there's new, diverse voices, different backgrounds of people getting into hard rock and punk rock, and a lot of different genres. Where in a genre that was kind of stagnant for a few years. Are you noticing that movement? Is that something you're seeing as well?
Yes, I am, and I just want to say it, whether this is a hot take or not. I believe that other cultures embracing and sort of like enhancing and amplifying rock music in their own way, showing that rock can look and feel different. So I think actually what we found is that from the outside, we got to come in versus like the inside being like, come in. I think, the cultures outside were like, no, I like this too. And if we're not going to be let in like that, we're just going to do our own version of it. And I think that has been really, really beneficial and shown diversity is so important and necessary for progress in all facets.
I think it's less to do with just music and more to do with just humanity. You know what I mean? I think everyone is like a hybrid. Even like restaurants, they'll have, fusion Asian places and, Mexican spots who do sushi sometimes, or a hamburger spot that does sushi. I just think it's like, people are just growing up, and I think the rock scene in some ways have kind of tried to gatekeep certain things, and I think that's kind of made the genre stagnant, especially with hip-hop growing so big that they have no choice but to include everyone at this moment. I don't know. I think it's just like the sign of the times, to be honest with you.
I feel like I consider this band and kind of my work as a musician very much in the legacy of Aretha Franklin, very much in the legacy of Little Richard, very much in the legacy of Prince, right? And these are amazing black artists, in many ways rooted in social justice work that meld together different genres and meld together sounds that appeal to different populations to create something that really pushes music and pushes culture forward, which I think is what we're all speaking to here. So as far as what's been happening recently, I've been really blessed, I think, and I'm so grateful to have lived a life where I have really diverse influences. And so I feel like I'm glad to see more of it, and I'm glad to be part of it in a new way now with this band.
The live show in particular, there's almost a sense of danger to it. It's watching you guys go out and just attack the stage, and you're just jumping off of everything. And it's what kind of energy did you want to bring to that live show that it just you just feel like it's going to go off at any moment?
I want people to look at Fever 333 as a live entity and understand that anything is possible, and not just on stage, well beyond stage, in their lives, in their communities, in their emotional understanding, intelligence. Like, I want people to understand that everything they told you that you can't do, there's probably a reason to it, and it's probably fear. It's probably because they don't want to see people achieving these things, whether that be something systemic, whether that be something personal, whether that be, something, a construct. I really believe that if you see Fever, and yes, thank you. I appreciate, the compliments on like how we are physically, but I want people to stretch their minds. I want them to stretch their spirits. I want them to stretch their souls. So when we do our thing, April said this earlier, it's like being on stage with multiple people and feeling challenged by every one of that person on stage, and not feeling challenged in a way where I'm like, tipping on envy, but feeling like I'm inspired. I just want people to know what that feels like. And that's what, for me at least, that's what I be on stage.
I mean, for me personally, it's definitely like, it leans way towards the inspiration side. Like when I see them up there, like I'm like, yo, they look sick. You know what I mean? And I don't really feel like challenged so much. I just feel inspired. I'm like, damn, like, in just many different facets. Not even, almost like Jason said, like beyond the stage. Like I see the things that they do in their personal lives, and I'm like, damn, I need to up what I'm doing. Like I see like April like killing it on social media. I see Thomas killing it on drums, and like I play drums a little bit myself. Like me watching him on stage, I'm thinking about what I need to be doing at home. Nothing to do with the show. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, yeah, it's I don't know. There's a lot kind of that goes on with the show and the energy and stuff. But yeah, I'm very inspired by the three of them.
And how's that translated to, going in and writing songs? Is it a similar dynamic where, everyone's kind of challenging each other and coming up with bringing in new ideas and influences and in creating new music?
Yeah, there's no reason not to challenge everything around you. Like there really, in my mind, right? If we set up the parameters in the way that I think and exist, is like there's no reason not to try to challenge those things around you. There's no reason not to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, other than either you want to be sedentary or you want to be complacent, and sometimes that actually evolves into being complicit. Right, and there's so many things happening around us right now that there's just no room for us to be complicit. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. I believe that there is a space and a route for every person, and I want you to take that route. But I really believe that in creating, whether that be music or otherwise, if you feel inclined to challenge yourself or anything or anyone around you, I think that's the universe telling you that's what you're supposed to do. If you feel it, and if you feel scared, you probably should be doing it too. Now, if you're just kicking it and you know that you're just supposed to be kicking it, that's probably what you should be doing. But if you really feel like scared or there's a voice in your head that you can't necessarily fully articulate without creating, then you're probably supposed to be challenging yourself.
I don't have too much fear.
No, or just maybe to get
I ain't
you
never scared.
maybe like to get you like pumped up.
I listen to some. I mix it up sometimes. Yeah, I mix it up. I might listen to like EDM sometimes, so I listen to like Justice or like Joyride, and then sometimes I just put on some world music. I don't even know how to pronounce this man's name. You know what I mean? But I try not to live in the fear space. Sometimes I think people think nervousness is fear, but I don't really get into this fear space. You know what I mean? Like mentally.
One of the things I love most about music is that when I'm playing, I'm fully engaged, and playing with Thomas is incredible because he's like so deeply present and he's so strong and powerful and assertive as a drummer that any moment that I'm not tapped in, I can just like click back in with Thomas. And also because we're so engaged on the stage, I can also like go hang out with them. And similar goes for these guys. Jason definitely with like remembering that there's an audience, and then Brandon with nailing the riffs, because Brandon is such a precise, incredible guitar player. And I think it really pushes me to really be on it in that way. And as far as music goes that I listen to get out of a fear space, I think similarly to Thomas, it's more about taking those nerves and making them into good nerves. And so I love listening to music by young black women on TikTok, especially rappers, because I think that's one of the amazing things that's happening on social media now is that we are, as women, are given our own voices. And so I feel like I bring that on the bass and with my stage presence and with how I show up on stage. So getting that energy from people like Coi Leray, from Baby Tate, like that's really where I get my swag, because I feel like we're all part of the same movement that's happening now with black women on social media, really bringing that out into the real world and pushing the narrative. I like to think about myself as with them. I don't know if they would say it, but I'm really inspired by women like that.
Our thanks to Fever 333. Catch them on the road this year with Enter Shikari, and keep an eye out for more new music on the way. As always, find more at riffmagazine.com. For Riff Radio, I'm Mike DeWald.